delivering quality education, expanding access to learning, serving learners' learning needs, tackling challenges of the present time, supporting every learner's dream, reaching young Tagumeños where they are today. Bringing you quality education straight to your home. Plug yourself in. This is DepEd TV. Tara na!
Good day, everyone, and welcome back in Lantaw Compre, a television-based instruction of DepEd, Division of Tagum City. I am your teacher, Jessel Amor and Verano, and I will be your guide in sharpening your skills and enhancing your minds in order to face the challenges in Grade 11 Mathematics. Ready your self-learning module? Your pen and paper with you, and let us have a wonderful day of solving problems in mathematics. For this lesson, you are expected to define domain and range, understand the properties of logarithmic function, and determine the domain and range of the logarithmic function. Before we head on to our lesson, you will answer a pre-test. Are you now ready? Here's the instructions. Choose the letter of the best answer. Write the chosen letter on a separate sheet of paper. Do not leave any item unanswered. You have 5 seconds for every item to answer. Did I make myself clear? If so, let's start! Question number 1. What is the inverse of the function x equals b raised to y? A. b equals y. B. X equals y. C. Y equals x. D. Y equals b. The correct answer is letter C. Number 2. What is the domain of the logarithmic function f of x equals x? A. 0 to positive infinity. B. 0 to negative infinity. C. Negative infinity to positive infinity. D. Positive infinity to negative infinity. The correct answer is letter A. Number 3. What is known as the possible values of the independent variable x? A. Domain. B. Inputs. C. Outputs. D. Range. The correct answer is letter B. Question number 4. What is the range of the function f of x equals x where b is less than 1? A. 0 to positive infinity. B. Negative infinity to 0. C. Positive infinity to negative infinity. D. Negative infinity to positive infinity. The correct answer is letter D. Number 5. What is the domain of the function f of x equals the quantity of 3x minus 6. A. 2 to positive infinity. B. Negative 2 to positive infinity. C. Negative infinity to 2. D. Negative infinity to negative 2. The correct answer is letter A. Number 6. The range of the function are the corresponding values of the independent variable y, which are often called blank. A. Domain. B. Inputs. C. Outputs. D. Range. The correct answer is letter C. Number 7. What is a set of all y values? A. Domain. B. Inputs. C. Outputs. D. Range. The correct answer is letter D. Question number 8. What is a set of all x values? A. Domain. B. Inputs. C. Outputs. D. Range. The correct answer is letter A. Question number 9. What is the inverse of the logarithmic function? A. Exponential. B. Linear. C. Polynomial. D. Quadratic. The correct answer is letter A. Question number 10. Which of the following is not an exponential function? A. Y equals 1 to the power of x. B. Y equals 2 to the power of x. C. Y equals 3 to the power of x. D. Y equals 4 to the power of x. The correct answer is letter A. Good job, class! I knew you could do it. Welcome to Lesson 1 of Module 26 of Grade 11 General Mathematics, Domain and Range of Logarithmic Functions. To better understand this topic, we will recall some concepts from the previous lessons on exponential function and its relationship with its inverse function, the logarithmic function. With that, it will be easier for you to grasp the next lesson. Let us start with the definition of an exponential function, which is a function of the form f of x equals b raised to x, where b is greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1. Here are the examples. The domain of this is a set of real numbers, while its range is a set of all positive real numbers. Let us also recall that if a function is one-to-one function, then an inverse function exists denoted by f raised to the power of negative 1, having the following properties. Inverse function is a one-to-one function. Domain of inverse function is the range of f. Range of inverse function is the domain of f. If the position of x and y are interchanged, and then y is solved for the resulting equation, the rule of correspondence of the inverse of the exponential function is obtained. This rule is denoted by the symbol y equals x. Since the exponential function is one-to-one, its inverse must be also a function, just like an exponential function, where b is greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1. This time, let us take back lessons regarding domain and range of a function by answering these examples. Letter A. F of x equals 2x plus 5. Since the linear function 2x plus 5 is a polynomial function, and based on its graph, its domain is set of all x such that x is a real number, and generally, its range is set of all y such that y is a real number. Letter B. F of x equals square root of x minus 3. To solve for the domain and range, since the given is in square root, x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 0. Our x now is greater than or equal to 3. Therefore, the domain is set of all x such that x is greater than or equal to 3. And the range is set of all y such that y is greater than or equal to 0, as you can see from the graph. Letter C. F of x equals x plus 3 all over x minus 2. In a rational function, the denominator of a fraction cannot be 0. Therefore, the domain is set of all x such that x is not equal to 2. Refer to the illustration. Let us help Mangkulas to find his lost Carabao by going through the maze by finding the domain of the given logarithmic functions to get the Carabao. You will be given 2 minutes. Time is up! Did you find difficulty in finding the domain of a function? How did you find the domain of the logarithmic function? How can you define domain and range? If you think that it is difficult, that is okay, because after you go through about domain and range of logarithmic function, you can go back to the activity and help Mangkulas to find his lost Carabao. Domain and range of logarithmic function. Let us have the definition of terms. The domain of a function is the set of all possible values of the independent variable x. The possible values of the independent variable x are often called inputs. The range of a function are the corresponding values of the independent variable y. The corresponding values of the independent variable y are often called outputs. In the case of a logarithmic function, its domain is defined as a set of all positive real numbers, while its range is a set of real numbers. Domain in this graph is 0 to positive infinity, and range is negative infinity to positive infinity. In this graph, the domain is 0 to positive infinity, and its range is negative infinity to positive infinity. It is important to remember that the domain of a logarithmic functions consists only of positive real numbers. That is, the argument of the logarithmic function must be greater than 0. Let's have an example. Number 1. Find the domain and range of f of x equals the quantity of 2x minus 4. Set up an inequality showing an argument greater than 0. So, the expression now is 2x minus 4 is greater than 0. Then solve for x. It becomes 2x is greater than 4. X now is 2. From the graph of the function, it can be seen that the curve is asymptotic at x equals 2. Therefore, the domain in interval notation is from 2 to positive infinity, and the range is negative infinity to positive infinity, since it is the set of all real numbers. Therefore, the domain in interval notation is from 2 to positive infinity, and the range is negative infinity to positive infinity, since it is the set of real numbers. Next example. Find the domain and range of f of x equals the quantity of x minus 3. The argument must be greater than 0. So x minus 3 is greater than 0. By addition property of equality, we add both sides by 3 to find the value of x. X now is greater than 3. Hence, our domain is 3 to positive infinity, and range is the set of real numbers that is in interval notation negative infinity to positive infinity. Did you follow, class? For more examples, kindly refer to your module. This time, let us have another activity. We called it Match It. Match column A with column B. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. You have 5 seconds to answer each item. Number 1. Y equals the quantity of x minus 1. The correct answer is letter D. 2. Y equals x minus 1. The correct answer is letter E. 3. Y equals the quantity of x plus 2 minus 5. The correct answer is letter A. 4. Y equals the quantity of x minus 3. The correct answer is letter B. Number 5. Y equals the quantity of x plus 5 minus 3. The correct answer is letter C. Great job, class! That's very easy, right? For further examples, you can refer to your module. At this point, let us try to summarize the day's lesson by filling in the blanks with correct words or phrases. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Statement number 1. The correct answer is, the domain of a function is the set of all possible values of the independent variable x. These possible values are often called inputs. Statement number 2. The correct answer is, the range of a function is the set of all possible values of the independent variable y. These possible values are often known as outputs. Statement number 3. The correct answer is the logarithmic function f of x equals x is the inverse of exponential function f of x equals b raised to the power of x. Statement number 4. The correct answer is the domain of the function f of x equals x is 0 to positive infinity, while its range is negative infinity to positive infinity. Great job! Thanks for sharing your idea for today's lesson. Congratulations for doing your best. To assess fully your understanding about the domain and range of logarithmic functions, kindly answer assessment of your module on page 10 on a separate sheet of paper. We will be collecting all your answer sheets by the end of the week. And that concludes our lesson for today. I hope today's episode has been very helpful. See you again in the next episode of Lantaw Compre, TV School on Air. I am teacher Jessel, Amor, and Verano. Allow me to leave you this message. Math means mistakes allow thinking to happen.